Is my body tired and I need some rest, or am I just being lazy and I need to push myself? I've been in that state in the last few weeks, and I actually was torn between realizing that my body actually needed some rest, and somehow at the back of my mind I was thinking, okay, am I just being lazy and I need to push myself? Am I in a state of procrastination? Be as tricky to actually realize which season you're in, and you need to understand yourself. But today we're going to have a conversation, just a conversation really, to just help some of us a little bit, because I mean, life is really demanding and we need to do what we need to do. But also, at the end of the day, we are human, we have bodies that we need to actually take care of. A few weeks ago, this is actually from experience. A few weeks ago, I experienced, I would call it a breakdown in my body, and I had not yet realized that actually it was a breakdown. Shortly, I got a flu, and so I was like, okay, maybe it's the flu. And then the flu got done, and my body was still feeling the same. And then I'm like, okay, what's up? Was it the flu, or is it my body needs some rest? So I actually sat down with myself and I realized my body needed some rest, and so I cut off everything else. Everything else. If you've been following me on my Instagram or even here on YouTube, you realize that you've not been seeing me much lately, and it's just because of that. My body truly needed some rest. I was doing a lot. Yes, and so I needed some rest. What are, I would say, I don't want to call it types of rest, but this is what I've actually come up with. In a way, I've grouped them like into two. That is like active rest and passive rest. Now, as for the passive rest is the kind of rest whereby you cease from all labor. The times when you go off work, or you ask for a leave, you just be off everything, you dedicate some time off social media, off anything that you do, just to be yourself. And then the active rest is where I believe all of them you're functioning under the grace of God. But now the active rest is where truly you are actively working under the grace of God. What do I mean here? There is a grace given you to actually do what you're supposed to be doing. For example, okay, have you seen people that actually do some things and it looks so easy, but like when you actually try to do that kind of thing, you're wowed. You're like, okay, how do these people actually do this thing? They make things look easy while doing them. No, it's because there is a grace given them to actually do what they're doing. For example, being a mother. I've not been a mother before, but like I've seen people, being a firstborn child. Anyway, I've seen my mom when I was little. I've seen cousins, friends, and all that. They tell you stories of waking up at 3 a.m. and all that to breastfeed. Um, a lot of other sacrifices, really, and you actually they do this for months, not for a day, not even for hours, and they do this for months. Now, you realize that they really just can't put this thing aside. You cannot put being a mother or being breastfeeding your child, unless health issues and all that and other circumstances. But like, you cannot put certain things aside. For example, you cannot stop being a father if you have children. You can, unless you choose. Life nowadays, people are funny, but like, there's certain things you really, for example, if you're owning a business and you're in a season whereby you are actively needed to be there, you realize that there's a grace given you to actually function in that place. That if somebody else came to actually run it, they would either fail or just drop out. You understand? So one thing you need to know for this one, I would say that it's important to understand the season that you are in as a person. You understand? So You receive that grace which God gives you to actually function in that place, and you realize that yes, you get tired, but there's a grace for you to push on and do that you're actually supposed to do. So for example, again, like a mother, you realize that um waking up at 3 a.m., breastfeeding, and then you have to wake up in the morning. Be yourself as a mother, be yourself as a woman, be a wife, and all these things. So you realize that there's a grace to function in all these places. So once you understand it as a person, that this is the kind of season I'm in a season of being a mother, I'm in a season of being a wife, and actively being present for my children. So you welcome it and embrace it. So you realize that you do things and you don't easily get tired. You get tired, but you embrace the grace given you to keep pushing on. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes, so that is the active kind of rest. Now, the passive, like I said, is where you put the day off. Now, when do you know that you actually need some rest? Guys, one of the first general things I would say really is the fact that the body really, really does communicate. Be sensitive enough and be attentive enough to tell what your body is actually trying to communicate. You understand? It actually does communicate quite way faster before your mind actually communicates. So be get to know that okay, when I'm feeling this way, my body needs some rest. When I'm feeling this way, I need to push. When I'm feeling this way, I'm actually just procrastinating. So get to understand your body. Nobody's going to come and understand your body more than yourself. And get to know what it's communicating. That's one of like the major ways of getting to know that you need some rest. Get to be attentive to your body. Now apart from that, there is other major ways of telling that you actually need some rest. For example, if you are the kind of person that, this is actually from experience, you kind of get like forgetfulness. You're very busy catching up with life and doing this and doing, and then you remember, oh, I was supposed to do this and I didn't do it. Now, guy, sweetheart, you need some rest. 100% very normal. There's a place whereby when you're tired, you actually kind of forget stuff easily. Put the word easily, forgetting stuff easily, forgetting to do things easily. Now, also, this is actually like from experience, you doze off, you actually have sleep. This is for a person who has actually normal, like very good hours of sleep. For example, if you're sleeping 8 or 9 hours or whatever hours that you sleep, for your body to actually function well during the day and do the activities. But you realize that you slept well and you slept for good hours, the hours that your body can function well. But this time round, you slept for those hours, but then you're dozy. Oh, yeah, it happens. Go get some rest. Your body is communicating that you need some rest. Now, on to the next one, which is when do you know that actually, you know what, I'm just being lazy. I'm procrastinating, and I need to push myself. Now, this is like kind of, I've made a video about procrastination, so I'll just link it up one of those corners, and you go and tap on it and understand procrastination better. If you have wanted to do something for the longest time and you've never done it, you are actually procrastinating, you're being lazy, and you need to push yourself to actually do it. Talking about you've thought of doing something for the longest time and it's okay to do it, it's not going to kill nobody, it's very well, it's in you, you actually know it within you that there's a grace given you to do that thing. Or maybe there's people that God has spoken to you about doing something and you still haven't done it. Yeah, you don't need rest, neither do you need whatever. You just need to push yourself to do it. One thing I know is that God gives us the grace to do things. So if you have a good burden, for example, I'll give an example. Okay, I love giving examples, right? Yes. For the longest time, I had this thing in me, like, you need to do YouTube and all that, actually years ago. But I kept on procrastinating about it, this and this and that now. And it used to be so heavy in my heart. And one thing I know for sure is that God gives people dreams to actually, it comes with a grace. When God has given you something to do, or like He's put a burden on your heart concerning a certain thing, He gives the grace to actually do it. If you are also always trying to chase deadlines, like you are working, um you're working like, it's an hour to the deadline. You're always trying to train hard. I know we all work to really see that we don't go against the deadlines of stuff. But like if you're the kind who is working under pressure to actually, make sure you're working last minute to actually beat deadlines. Honey, there are very high chances that you're actually procrastinating. So you don't need the rest. You're just being lazy and you're procrastinating, and you need to actually push yourself to do better. Now, this is the end of this short video, and I hope you go get some rest and you also get to go and push yourself harder to actually do the things you're supposed to do. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. So bye bye. Thank you for staying this longer. I'll see you in my next video.